Plashed it. Hey there, Segudo golfers. So it's just occurred to me that there is a group of people out there saying that you don't need to keep your left arm straight in the golf swing, that you should forget that entire idea. Today we're going to talk about why you need that left arm to be straight no matter who you are. And we're going to look at ways to keep your arm straight and how using your body in a certain way can get you striking the ball powerfully and with good contact. So a lot of people say keeping the lead arm straight, you don't need to do it. They look at golfers at the top and they'll see a slight bend right here and they'll say, ah, gotcha. You don't need to keep this arm straight. But the players they reference are like Brooks Koepka or McIlroy, some really buffed people. So when you look at these golfers, they're really jacked, and at setup, you'll see because they're so buffed, they have a slight bend in their arm at setup. When they take that arm to the top, they still see that slight bend with their massive muscles. They're not bending their arm. They're just keeping it the same length that it was here to the top. Now my arm isn't as jacked, but just to show you at setup here why the lead arm is so important, if I kept it straight and I swung my shoulders back and through without shifting, that club would come in contact with the ground after the ball time and time again. So the lead arm staying straight is paramount for contact. If I shorten this arm, watch what happens to my contact. This is me just shortening my left arm slightly. Look at the ball on the ground. You see the club is raising up. Now it's coming in contact with the top of the ball. That would be a top shot almost every time. Well, there it is. The only way to recover from a bent arm is to introduce some sort of swing problem. So if I go to the top of my backswing with a bent arm, if I want to hit the ball, I have to straighten it at some point so the club can make contact with the ground. If I kept my arm bent the whole way through, the club would never come in contact with the ground. If I shorten this arm at all, it's never going to strike the ground, no matter how hard I try. And that's why golfers who shorten their arms at the top will then lengthen it on the way down, and it often looks like this. A steep downswing. Or they'll try some different rerouting, but most of the time, I'm seeing this. Because the action of hitting the ball is one of a push through the ball like this. So if you're someone who bends your arms, you're going to try and create a hitting feel by extending your arms. And anytime you shorten up, your path gets steeper. Just shortening my left arm right here, and that's pulling the shaft in and steep. It does not get shallower. So the idea that you can allow a bent left arm is nonsense. One, the geometry won't allow it. It can't. Shorten the lead arm never strikes the ball. Two, if I want to strike it solid, and I want consistency, if I kept my arm in place like this, kept it straight and swung it back and through, I would hit the ball first and take a divot. You're just seeing that geometry live in action. The other benefit of keeping this arm straight is it preserves the structure of your swing so that you don't swing over the top. When I pull my arms in, shaft steep, but when I keep them together, my arm straight, that keeps the shaft in this shallow position. So as I swing back, I'm pushing my arm away, my lead arm away. That keeps the shaft shallow. When I start down, if I keep the arm the same length, it keeps the shaft on the same track back to the ball. So at no point are you seeing the shaft steepening. And I just realized there is a hawk right here. Now that is cool. I've never been this close to a hawk. Whoa. Whoa, that is cool. Must be good friends with it. I think it's a hawk. Big wings. So the arm staying straight preserves the integrity of your swing. That integrity is contact and the correct swing path. So golfers, I think, are looking for an excuse to do the same errors they've been doing forever. A lot of golfers struggle with lead arm breaking down, so there's a certain confirmation that they want to have, like, hey, look, it's okay for you to keep a bend in your arm. You'll hear people say this. And I think it's just like a bunch of people commiserating saying, I can't fix this problem. No, the reality is you can fix the problem. The lead arm will stay straight. Watch this. We don't force the lead arm straight. I'm not forcing it to lock straight. It's the same length here. When I go to the top, it's the same length. The thing that moves this arm, and it's critical for you to know this, is the shoulder. The arm does not move the arm. That's why you can't keep your arm straight. You're so focused on keeping the arm straight without understanding the mechanism that moves it. And that mechanism is shoulder one, shoulder two, left shoulder, right shoulder. When I move those shoulders, the arm will just follow. It stays straight, comfortably straight. It's not, it's so tight, so stiff. If I turn my hips, the shoulders turn more, and this arm follows and stays straight. Contrast that with what I'm seeing with a lot of golfers. They don't move the shoulder at all. So if I keep my shoulders locked, they barely move them. I can only go this far. Now I have to break down my arm. And now I'm really close. My hands are really close to my head. My arms are broken down, and it's like I'm hugging the club. So you're seeing this breakdown because the shoulders stop turning. This is where you might be saying, well, Tom, you're young and flexible. I'm not. I'm like 75, 80 years old. I can't turn like that. The average student in my golf school is between 75 and 80 years old. The swing that I teach works within the natural movement of your body. So the natural range of motion of your body. Whether you're 101 or 8 years old, you can do this, or 0 years old. The moment I turn my hips, the shoulders have turned 45 degrees. Right away, this is where a lot of people don't get, they don't get this part. They keep this locked. So the shoulders only turn half that, 45 if you're lucky. So now I've got to bend. But if you just point your belt buckle 45 degrees to the right by straightening this leg, you'd be in a world of amazing left arm straight. And then all you have to do is turn your shoulders 45 degrees, which I know you know how to do. So we're trying to get the shoulders to be freed up to turn. That's what keeps the arm straight. You don't have to be comfortable with breaking down this arm because this arm breaking down kills your swing. There is no argument for a bent lead arm that works because of what I've just described. It just simply does not check out with geometry. If you have a good player who does bend their arm, then they're good at timing. That was a thin fade. Wow. But if I kept this arm straight, preserve the structure of my swing, I preserve that structure by turning my hips and my shoulders. It will stay straight and I will have an effortless feel into my swing. I'm not working hard. I'm not reaching back for more. I'm not trying to muscle up or feeling really stiff and tense. I don't have to go to the gym for this flexibility. I just have to turn my hips and my shoulders more. Allow the hips to turn, shoulders to turn. And your tempo is going to be as calm as you want it to be. You're not in a rush to get back to the ball. We've just knocked out a ton of swing problems right there. Because contact is so good. I mean, I could go, let's go up to the top. He's setting up a machine. Does that get any more real? Like, does that whole concept, the geometry has it come alive for you yet? You're watching science in action. You're just watching laws in action, laws at work. Tempo can be whatever I want it to be. I can swing faster. I'm still going to have a contact point as long as the lead arm is straight. Though I like that tempo now, it's too fast for me, but it's not going to matter. You saw me just do like a beyond Matsuyama weight, just hanging out. And you saw me do a really fast swing. Contact's the same because I'm turning my shoulders and my hips, and just the arm's allowed to stay straight. Now, there's a drawback if I swing too fast. My arms can get ahead of my body, and that's when I have missed hits. So I don't advise swinging ridiculously fast unless your shoulders can move faster and you can keep up. So why are you settling for nonsense on the internet? Why do you go to these forums and look for confirmation that you can bend your lead arm? Because if you bend it, you have to straighten it at some point. At which point you're wasting effort and your downswing's probably steep. There isn't much of a solution other than figuring out how to make that work. You're going to straighten it at some point, and that's coming in the form of a swing compensation. Let's swing without compensations. Let's just set up, and when we swing without compensations, I can swing faster, fuller. I can just keep ramping it up. There's no limit because the swing has retained that structure. If you keep the arm straight, well, there's no alternative. And I'm teaching this material in the Segudo.golf online golf school. I've got a mini course, Become a Great Ball Striker, 17 videos, 45 minutes of content to get you ripping the cover off the ball. Life is just too short to play bad golf. Why waste it with nonsense? Just work with the laws we already know. Lead arm straight helps us with the law of contact, and it doesn't just help us, it's essential.